Do take a seat, and I'm going to invite Terry and Hana to come up. I don't know whether Misha and Sammy are coming up. Are you staying where you are? But Misha and Sammy, it's so lovely to have you too. Someone said you've grown since you were last year, and we thank you for giving up your half turn to allow us to catch up with you again. But I'm going to hand over to Terry and Hana, who are going to share an update for us while the children are still in of some of the things they've been up to do.
Okay, so before we start, children, we have a quiz for you. Children. And children also can be anyone that's young at heart, anyone that thinks they're a child. Okay, here's the first question. What do the colors of the Ukrainian flag symbolize? Okay, there's a girl at the back. Sammy, I know that you think you know this, but there's a girl at the back. Perfect. Yes, well done. So it's the blue sky, because it is very sunny in Ukraine. And because it's very sunny in Ukraine, it's a great place to grow or anything. But this is wheat and sunflowers. So if you drive across Ukraine, it is a very, very agricultural country. So that's what it symbolizes. Okay, the next question. What is this Ukrainian soup called? Okay, yep. Yeah, borscht. Okay, and bonus points if you can say what's in it. Yep. Oh, there you go. Lots of people are saying beetroot. Yes, this is...
What else other than beetroot?
What did you say?
Water, okay. Sour cream, yes, that's correct. You can see it in the picture. Dill, definitely.
Perfect, yes.
You've got to have dill. Yes, some put peppers there as well, red peppers.
And
potato.
sometimes?
Yes,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Do we have anybody from Ukraine here right now? Is there anything we've missed saying? Carrots.
Yes, I've already had borscht with carrots in it too.
Okay.
And cabbage. And meat. We've forgotten about the meat part.
So, but every Ukrainian family have their own recipe. So we've had lots of different recipes of borscht. Okay, and the last country, this is maybe for the adults. Which countries share a border with Ukraine? Okay, Hungary, perfect.
Kids there.
Yep. Yep. Russia, yes. Very good. Georgia, no, that's a bit further away. Yes, one at the back. Poland, yes, well done. Sammy, Slovakia, yep. And Belarus, yes, well done. And two more. Romania, actually three more. Romania, yep. And then the final two are Hungary and Moldova. So you can see there's a bit of a map there. So Russia, Belarus, Poland has a big border. Slovakia, Hungary, Belarus, and Romania. Okay. So we're going to share a little bit about what's been happening with our work with Ukrainians. But before that, we'll show a short video that gives a wider context of how we ended up being involved with working with Ukrainian refugees. So the organization I work for, Josiah Venture, we equip churches to work with young people across Central and Eastern Europe. So we focus on disciple making and evangelism. And that includes about 100 churches in Ukraine that we've worked alongside. So of course, when the war started, we had a lot of contacts in Ukraine. And the Ukrainian church did an amazing job of immediately helping Ukrainian people to escape the war zones and also take people, food and resources into the war zones. And oftentimes the Ukrainian church could get people to the western Ukraine, and then it was organizations like ours that hired buses and brought people across the border to refugee centers in Poland or the Czech Republic or Slovakia, Romania, and places like that. And then we would put humanitarian aid back on the buses, and send the buses back to Ukraine to unload the humanitarian aid and bring more refugees out. And so with our organization, what we tried to do was, when they arrived with us, and we hosted about 3,500 Ukrainians, we gave them 2 or 3 days of staying in our one of our centers, where we found churches that would host those Ukrainians in the future, and where they could find a community and a life in places much like yourself. So that's a lot of what we were doing internationally as an organization. And as a local church in the Czech Republic, we became a small part of that cog in helping Ukrainians, and Hanka will share what that looked like.
So this, I've never done this before, so this is my first ever, and it works. Actually, this is a photo taken of our dining room, living room area with a few of our Ukrainian friends a few hours after, or maybe a day after they arrived in our house. So actually the first group that we had the privilege to host was a group of 10 people and a dog. The dog was a surprise. And there were 3 different families who were looking for a place to stay together. And there are lots of people who are willing to put up 1 or 2 people, but 10 is a crowd. So we got a phone call from a friend of Terry's Sunday afternoon saying, hey, can you put 10 people up tonight? And we're like, well, we have a huge basement area. Well, don't worry, it doesn't look like a black hole cellar type of thing. It's actually a really nice playroom for the kids. And so we thought, okay, we can put some of them in the basement, in the playroom, and then a couple of them in our guest room. So we called our neighbors and friends, asking them for pillows and blankets, and we said, okay, we're ready. When they arrived in the middle of the night, just to give you a little image, imagine you wake up in the middle of the night to pack a plastic bag or 2 full of your bare necessities to just get on a coach going somewhere to the west. And you spend a day on that coach. Then you get off that coach to sleep somewhere in a crowded gym or church, to wait for another coach that will transport you out of the country. And then once you appear in a completely foreign country, in the middle of the night, with your plastic bag full of your stuff, that's the only thing you have, a strange man gets on the bus and he says, you are coming with me. They were scared, and it was very scary. And the first couple days were very difficult for them, just adjusting to a new country, to our house. But there were a tiny drop of thousands that experienced the same thing. So just in our city, in Ostrava, what we as a family and our church did is we would always try to host a few of the Ukrainian families in our homes until we found them a place to stay and become independent. So we would help them get the visas, get health insurance, find a job, furnish the flat, find money for a few first months for the rent, to really help them find that sense of, okay, we're now in a new place and we can live our independent lives. And meanwhile, while we were trying to do that, this is what our house looks like with everyone in it. So this is the first 10, and after 2 weeks of having those 10, we finally found a big enough place for them to all move in together, and a new 5 came. What was interesting is the first group, there were 2 teachers there, and in this group, We had another teacher, the blonde lady at the front, Violeta, is a teacher, and her mom at the back was in Ukraine. She was in the educational administration. And actually, Irina at the back, you'll hear from her later on. But these two have become especially dear to our family, or to me. Irina is now kind of my second mom, my Ukrainian mom. We keep in touch a lot. She has a lot of wisdom to share. And with the 3 teachers that have gone through our house within a couple weeks, we felt like, okay, this might be a sign that we could do something more for other Ukrainian children in Ostrava, in our city, because the government issued a new legislation saying, okay, all the Ukrainian children must be integrated into the Czech schools. But the Czech system isn't used to having any foreigners. Okay, there's no help. Imagine coming into a class of 30 kids with one teacher not speaking the language. There's no assistant and no help in place. So we've heard stories of how the Ukrainian children coming out of a war zone, being shell-shocked, were crammed into a Czech school, having no idea what was happening, and getting just even more and more depressed. And so we thought, okay, what can we do to help just a few of them? And we approached a local school that we already had connection with, and we said, hey, how about you rent us a space and we'll try and run a Ukrainian school there. Just for the time being, so that mothers can go to work and the children can be with us. We would do the Ukrainian curriculum, and everyone will be happy. And the head teacher, actually, he's an amazing man. He's about this tall. He said, well, you know, I would probably have a problem with the legislation. What I can do, though, is I can make the kids an official part of the school, so official students, and unofficially you would work with them alongside us. I was like, okay, well, let's try that. Well, we first didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, but God always has a plan that's way greater than us or than we can imagine. So what I've learned in the last 6 months is if I decide to give, even if it costs me an arm and a leg, He will always provide more abundantly, and He will actually involve way more people in it. And that's actually when you guys come into the picture. So when you look at this picture, this is from our Sunday service, and the people standing there are being prayed for, being sent to be the teachers of the new Ukrainian school. So in the end, thanks to you and all the finances and prayers and support that you sent our way, we were able to employ 5 Ukrainian teachers to work with Ukrainian children from 6 to 14, 15, and make their life a little more comfortable, a little happier. So the deal with the head teacher was, okay, the children will officially come to the Czech school, and for music and art and PE, where they don't really need to speak the language, they'll be with their Czech peers. For the rest of the day, they'll be with their Ukrainian teachers, who will continue with the Ukrainian curriculum so that the kids don't fall behind. But at the same time, for those who will stay long term, we knew we had to teach them Czech, so that from September they could actually be involved fully in the Czech school. And so we had a few Czech university students who would come and teach the children Czech. and at the same time the Ukrainian teachers who would just take care of them and continue with the Ukrainian curriculum. Here you can see a few photos of the kids. This is Easter, so we prepared a special program for them on Easter. They were baking and decorating some gingerbreads and then looking for eggs in the school garden. Yes, this is one of the pictures from that. At first we started off, the first week, we started off with 15 kids. But the word spreads really fast, and so within a week we had over 30. We knew that at the end of June the deal with the school will end, and that from the 1st of September the children would be fully integrated into the Czech system, studying everything in Czech. What's wonderful is kids learn a new language very quickly. They pick it up way faster than us adults. So right now the school has 43 Ukrainian students. Most of them are just able to go through the Czech system, through the curriculum and lessons in Czech. On top of that, 2 of our teachers actually were allowed to stay there and assist those kids who need it. And the school even finally found the money to actually fund those 2 teachers from their own Czech funds. So without you, the school would not have happened. We took the leap of faith in saying, okay, we'll do it. We had no idea how to work within the Czech legal system, and we had 0 finances. But you came in and you provided. So we would really like to thank you so much for that. And you will never understand how much you actually blessed the children, the teachers, but also us, seeing God provide and the kindness that we've received. We didn't just finish working with them in June. We continued throughout the summer. So we actually ran 3 different camps. This is a picture from a fusion camp that we did for Czech teenagers, but we invited a group of Ukrainian children that we already knew to come and join us. This is them in the picture. And then we ran 2, we had a Ukrainian night at our fusion camp. And then these are photos from day camps that we ran just for Ukrainian children. Again, studying more Czech, having some fun in the area. Doing lots of sightseeing and games. I would like to actually finish now with this final picture. So this was taken the last day of school year. And you can see me with all the other teachers just celebrating the year and saying, good job for persevering and having the hope and faith. And I have to say, looking back, I don't know how we did it, but I can still see how God was blessing and how He was revealing a little glimpse of, again, what heaven will be like, but also what He is like. Not just in what you guys have provided us with, but also with neighbors who don't belong to our Christian community. We're friends with them, but when they heard we had Ukrainians over, they would always ask, can we do something? Can we do grocery shopping? Can we help you? And also in these ladies here, because the amount of faithfulness and perseverance that they've shown me in my own life has been actually really heart-changing for me. So thank you again. And because our Ukrainian mom couldn't come with us, she has a short video for you. And there's no sound.
Живу в Чехии, в городе Острава. Хотя я сама родом из Украины, из города Харькова, но через войну в Украине я вынуждена была с дочерью оставить Украину и приехать в Чехию. Здесь, в Чехии, у нас не было друзей, не было знакомых, не было жилья и одежды. Но хвала и благодарение Богу, что церковь – это не каменные здания, а верующие люди, которые любят Бога и любят ближнего своего. Нас приняла поместная церковь в городе Острава, которая явила нам Божью любовь, заботу и помощь. С первых дней нашего пребывания здесь, в городе Острава, была организована, материально обеспечена и открыта школа для украинских детей в количестве 30 человек. Находясь здесь, в другой стране, не зная чешского языка, имея внутри себя глубокие переживания из-за войны в Украине, этот проект для нас и детей был лучшей возможностью научиться быстрее и качественнее адаптироваться и коммуницировать с окружающими людьми. В школе мы имели возможность разговаривать на родном языке и параллельно глубоко изучать чешский язык, что было очень важно для нас. На данный момент времени мы видим на себе и детях, что реализация этого проекта имеет позитивный результат в нашей жизни, в адаптации и в коммуникации здесь. Сейчас мы продолжаем жить и работать в Острове, оставаясь частью поместной церкви Тройки. Мы разделяем их видение и цели. Хотим и дальше помогать верующим и неверующим украинцам, организовывать совместные встречи, чтобы поближе узнать друг друга, чтобы понимать, как помочь в решении проблем. От имени всех украинцев мы благодарны Богу за вас. Мы благодарны за вашу любовь, за ваш труд, за вашу заботу. И я хотела бы закончить посланием к евреям, 6 глава, 10 стих. «Ибо не неправеден Бог, чтобы забыл дело ваше и любовь, которую вы оказали во имя Его, послужив и служа святым». Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's just so encouraging to see that, isn't it? And we wanted to just share that, well, the children were in particularly, because many of our children did a sponsored walk, didn't you, on the hills, and that is your work too. You are big partners in that, so thank you, children, for what you've done. You've made a massive impact for children many miles away who you'll never meet, and we just give thanks to you.